Yo, what is good, people? Welcome back to another episode of the F1 2022 My Team Series here on the channel. Today, we have the 6th race of Season 2. We're flying through Season 2, and we are flying in Season 2 because this car is incredible. Today, we have the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit Gilles Villnueve. I'm not sure which day this is going to be uploaded, whether it's a Wednesday or the Friday. I'm trying to schedule uploads ahead of time, so you might have to give me time to be able to schedule ahead of time. But coming into this race, we are currently sat P3 in the driver's standings, just 1 point behind Carlos Sainz in P2. Currently sat P5 in the constructors. Our teammate Jenson Button has not been as quick as we have been this season so far. But Canada, if you've been watching this series so far from Season 1, if you watched last year on that series, Canada is probably my favourite circuit on the whole calendar. I absolutely love this circuit. It's got so much pace around here. It's probably my best track in terms of raw pace. So let's get into qualifying and see if we can turn that pace into a good qualifying lap, possibly get back-to-back poles, I want to say, was the last race Baku. It's been a few days since I recorded that video. I think the last race was Baku. Yes, it was. And we slapped it on pole position. Go back and check that video out to see if we turn that pole into a win. But here we are in Q1, coming through Sector 3 now. This is our first push lap of the session. We do not have a time on the board. Very sunny day here in Canada, but I'm pretty sure the weather is looking a bit all over the place for this session and for the race as well. So it'll be interesting to see that once we do get to it. Coming through the final chicane, pushing right up to the wall of champions, as they call it. And then we're going to take the shortest run to the line, cross the line in P1 with a 1:11.1 on the board. We are going to have to go again. We do a cool down lap to charge the battery, and here we go. We're pushing again for another lap because, of course, we just need to keep pushing because track evolution, things like that, coming through turn 2 already. You can see that track evolution already with like 5/10. So look at the delta absolutely flying up. In fact, no, it's not. That's because it was to the last lap. Ignore what I've just said anyway. Ignore the delta in the top right because that goes off the last lap, not your fastest lap. But we are pushing hard here still. Setting what seems to be a decent lap so far. Tricky corner here. I was losing the back end every time. Don't know if that was a setup issue through that corner, the right hander. But we can see a slow car in front of us. I don't know if they're on a push lap or not. It's Sebastian Vettel. He is on a charge lap or an out lap. You see that battery light flashing on the back of his car. So he pulls over to the side as we head down towards the hairpin. He gets out of our way very nicely indeed. And into the hairpin, there's contact from behind. Sebastian Vettel, who did move to the side, has just accelerated into us, into the hairpin. He was not on a push lap. Let's see a replay of that. We're on a push lap. Seb moves out the way, then into the braking zone for the hairpin. Just shoots it up the inside, makes contact and spins us round. Sebastian Vettel, what are you doing, bro? Seb's one of my favourite drivers as well. And he's just done that to us. Look at this. Like, he gets out the way and then just completely straight into the side of us. I don't know what he's thinking or what he's doing there. But that's ruined that lap. We finished Q1 anyway in P8, just behind our teammate Jenson Button. Hopefully that's a good sign that Jenson might have some pace, but we'll have to wait and see because Jenson's contract is up for renewal just in a few races' time, and I'm considering a new teammate already. We're only 6 races into the season, but he has not impressed me so far. Even like never mind his qualifying pace, just his racecraft in races, finishing behind where he starts on the grid every race pretty much. But into Q2 here, you can see that bright sun has gone away. Well, it is a little bit, but there seems to be some dark clouds. Track temperature must have dropped a little bit with that sun going behind the clouds. Yuki Tsunoda gets out of our way nicely, unlike a certain man called Sebastian Vettel. Little slide coming down the hill there. Cost us time through Sector 1, and then here we go into the left-hander and the tricky right where I was losing the back end every time, but we managed to nail it a bit there, gain some time back that we did lose through Sector 1. Yeah, easy to lose the back end through that corner and coming downhill through that section. So fun, that section now, because it feels so fast and you're right up against the walls. But down into the hairpin now, this is obviously Q2. I did say we set a purple Sector 2, making up a lot of time for that bad Sector 1, sorry, that we did go red in, and we go purple in Sector 2. Missed the apex of the hairpin there, but down this back straight now, Sergio Perez in front of us giving a huge slipstream as we head down towards the final chicane. He's started his push lap now, so he's not going to get in our way because he's showing some pace, but we're going to have a massive slipstream from Sergio all the way down that back straight and the main straight here to cross the line with a time of a 1:10.5, and that'll be hard to beat for anyone in this session who doesn't have a slipstream. As you can see, we do finish P1. Jenson Button making it through to Q3 for the first time, I do think, in his Sasuke racing career. Down in P9 there, but yeah, thanks to Checo for that tow down the straight. We do finish 700ths ahead of Carlos Sainz, which is a crazy pace from Sainz if he didn't have a tow. But into Q3 now, can we set a lap that is worthy of provisional pole. There's 55 seconds left in the session, 53 as we cross the line to start this final lap of the session, braking at that 100-meter board, down to second gear for the right-hander, short shifting to third and then fourth on the exit to get extra traction going uphill, keeping it to the left, swinging it as fast as we can downhill here, getting on the throttle, pushing it right up to the wall to carry that speed through. Then it's flat out for this corner, braking 100 meters again for this left-hander, taking a bit of care for extra rotation, short shifting to fourth for that grip, and there's a bit of oversteer on that back end again, bit unsettled, but we go purple through sector 1. That is very nice to see, as we do take obviously the fastest sector of anyone through sector 1, carrying that speed through sector 2, hitting the chicane fairly nicely. It's just such a fast circuit, this track. I'm sure it was like 70% full throttle or something they say in the intro for it. Missing the apex a little bit for the hairpin, but you can afford to take different lines as long as you get a good exit down the straight, which we seem to be doing because we're going up in the delta, opening up the RS wing as early as possible, and then taking the shortest run to the end of the straight into the chicane. And can we nail the chicane? We actually break like 50 meters early, I want to say, in that chicane, and we lose all of our time in the delta. You can see that delta flying down, but we do cross the line, and is it good enough for pole? Let's find out. Excellent lap. We're very pleased with that. It is pole position here in Canada. I thought I'd messed up into the last chicane. I literally hit the brakes like 25, 50 meters too early. But yeah, pole position. Nearly a whole second faster than our teammate Jensen Button. That guy, we have the same machine underneath us. Jensen, like, what are you doing, bro? We need some help. He's even slower than the Alpine of Fernando Alonso, and Alpine are miles behind us in the vehicle comparison chart. So yeah, it's crazy to see how slow Jensen actually is. We're definitely looking for a new teammate if he doesn't up his game soon. A whole second slower than me. Crazy. Let's get to the race. Can we turn this into a win?
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at this fiercely competitive circuit, where pole position can often be decided by less than 1/10 of a second. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's the owner-driver then in pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Sainz, Russell, Perez, Fernando Alonso and Jensen Button, Ocon, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher and Gasly, Ticktum, Joe, Alex Albon and Robert Schwartzman, Stroll, Vettel, Latifi and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Natalie Pinkham. Thanks for joining us, Natalie. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, well, they'll be the ones that are better off.
Heading into this race then, starting from pole position, let's see our strategy. I'm going with a risky two-stop strategy, starting on the soft tyres, going into what I thought was two mediums. Turned out it was actually a medium-hard strategy. I thought it was soft, medium, medium, but it is soft, medium, hard. Charles Leclerc sharing the front row with us in P2. He's starting on the hard tyres, and then we can see Norris, Hamilton, Verstappen in P3, 4 and 5. They're starting on the medium tyres, looking like they'll be going with that one-stop medium hard. Leclerc may be going with the hard medium strategy. So I'm feeling a bit nervous now, starting on these soft tyres. Have we got the strategy wrong? We failed to park in our grid spot, so we're actually going to be right to the back of our grid spot, and that is not a good start. But hopefully with these soft tyres, softer compound, we can get off to a good start here in Canada, and it is lights out and away we go, and we do get off to that good start. Charles Leclerc struggling for grip on those hard compound tyres. You can see as we head down into turn 1, we are miles ahead. There goes Lando Norris up the inside of Charles Leclerc. He's looking to make a move. Charles had a really bad start on those hard tyres, must have not got enough temperature into them on that formation lap, or just struggled to warm them up completely. But we are flying ahead with these soft tyres, and there's Lando. He's managed to get ahead of Charles Leclerc, and it looks like Lewis Hamilton battling with Max Verstappen. I haven't said that for a while in real life, but there's Lewis Hamilton battling with Max Verstappen for P4 and P5 there. George Russell in the mix in P6 as well, but we are flying ahead. There is Lando chasing us down. Lando had some great pace at the start of this race on the medium tyres. I thought we'd fly ahead on these softs, but Lando sticking with us so far this lap, and it looks like he might be close enough to try and make a move here, and he's going to try it down into the hairpin. Lando Norris up the inside. Is he going to be able to make this move stick? We have the outside line, softer compounded tyre, more grip on the outside, and we got a better launch out of the hairpin down the back straight now, but Lando is going to have a slipstream all the way down the straight into the chicane. Did he compromise his line coming through that chicane enough? We are going to try and break the toe by pulling to the side there, and as we head into the braking zone, we're going to be ahead of Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc still right in the mix though, a lot closer to Lando than Lewis is to Charles. Lewis seems to be dropping back a little bit there. Might have lost some time in that battle with Verstappen, but you can see Lando Norris right on our tail. The McLaren absolutely flying, and we'll see towards the end of this episode why the McLaren is flying. I did mention it towards the end of last episode that Mercedes and McLaren are going to be doing well, but towards the end of our first stint here on these soft tyres, using a lot of battery to defend here against Lando Norris, we're pretty much using it all, because Lando does have DRS, of course, being lap 6. He does have DRS down his back straight, but we come into the pits for our first pit stop of the race. Those rear tyres really struggling through those 2 sectors I mentioned, or 2 corners I mentioned in qualifying, really struggling for rear grip, and when the tyres go, it's even harder, so we were losing a lot of lap time through there. But we do have a 2.5 second pit stop come out on the medium tyres. You can see it looks a lot more dull. Track temperature dropped a little bit. The sun has gone behind the clouds. Possible rain clouds to the left. If you look at them, they look a bit grey. But let's see where we come out to the pits. Are we going to come out into traffic? Hopefully not. We come out behind Mick Schumacher and just ahead of Alex Albon in the Williams. Mick Schumacher, of course, in the Aston Martin for this season. Aston Martin going with the double German driver lineup with Seb and Mick. That's crazy that actually happened because of how close they are, of course, in real life. But can we get some heat into these medium tyres and get them up to temperature and put in a good lap? Because we might see some more pit stops at the end of this lap, see if anyone else is running the same strategy as us. Of course, Charles Leclerc running those hard tyres. Let's see how long he goes for. Is Charles anticipating rain, sticking on hard tyres until he might have to box for intermediates? Who knows? Let's find out as we get through this race. Heading down into the hairpin now, we can see a lot of traffic in front. You've got Schumacher, Gasly, there's 2 more cars in front of him, maybe Ocon in there. I don't even know who that is in front, but I can see a lot of cars down this straight. Looks like they're stuck in a DRS train. The start of lap 8 here, you can see we've caught up to that train. Mick Schumacher's managed to get past Pierre Gasly. Can we try and get past Pierre Gasly as quickly as possible as to not cost ourselves some time? We get a great launch out of the downhill section up the inside of Gasly there. That's a very high speed overtake into the braking zone. Gasly can't send one back. We've got another DRS zone, very hard to overtake through here because of how short it is. Lose the back end a bit there, snap of oversteer as you see him, but using that battery charge that we have saved up a little bit, using that DRS, still stuck behind Schumacher. I'm just hoping we have more straight line speed than these cars to get them down the main straight. Fernando Alonso, the car in front, or can we even get Schumacher down into the hairpin, trying to set up a move there? We make Schumacher cover the inside or the outside so we can send it up the inside, and we do make a pass on Schumacher, making great passage through this traffic here. And can we get Fernando Alonso? Like I say, don't want to lose too much time because we are fighting for a win in this race. Don't want to lose too much time in traffic, making Alonso defend the inside for this next chicane. Are we going to be able to send it up the outside into the chicane? Alonso cutting the curb, and we go too wide through that chicane, managed to come out ahead. Alonso losing a lot of grip, bouncing over those curves, but Alonso trying to send one back into turn 1. Now it's 3 abreast going into turn 1 behind us. I don't even want to look in that rear view mirror in case somebody smashes into the back of us, but coming through turn 2 we managed to get up into P9. The car in front now, Carlos Sainz. Esteban Ocon, sorry, the car in front, and in front of him is Carlos Sainz on hard tyres, running the same strategy as his teammate Charles Leclerc, starting on his hard tyres. Let's see how long they go for.
And some information on Leclerc. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
And that is absolutely great news. Charles Leclerc running slow. You can see him now in P7. Well, Carlos Sainz is actually battling for that P7 with Leclerc, but Leclerc running slow, and we can see him already. We're trying to get past Ocon. A bit of a bump on the back of Ocon there. We set the fastest lap of the race on that previous lap as well. That's how we managed to catch up to Ocon, just a lot more pace than this stinky guy in front of us. And can we try and make the same pass we did on Pierre Gasly up the inside there? Ocon leaves us the space, and again into the braking zone. Who's going to come out ahead here? Ocon a lot closer than Gasly was up the inside, but we managed to make our move and stay ahead of Esteban Ocon there. Like I say, we're losing too much time behind these guys in traffic, especially running a two-stop strategy. We need to try and get into some clear air, set some quick laps, and try and make up that time for the second pit stop, because if everyone else is running a one-stop and we run a two-stop, then we are screwed a little bit. But Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, sorry, running slow, as we heard on the team radio before. And here we go, we're trying to make an overtake on Charles Leclerc around the outside this time. We've done two moves up the inside there, but we go around the outside this time, managed to get past Leclerc very easy. Wasn't even a fight into the braking zone, we were miles ahead. He's struggling. Same thing happened in Baku. We were battling Sainz, was it? And then we got a message saying Sainz was struggling and he's going to be slow. So I don't know what's going on over at Ferrari with that power unit, but it just seems like a joke team like they are in real life at the moment, which you hate to see for the Scuderia. But yes, we are in P7 with the fastest lap of the race. The car in front is Carlos Sainz. He is 2.5 seconds ahead. Are we going to be able to catch up to him anytime soon before we have to go back onto hard tyres? I'm going to try and get some info.
The gap to the car in front is 2.5 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Okay, they've done 10 laps on those tyres. Okay, we think they've got 2 stops remaining. And the time last lap was 1 minute 14.2.
Now that is very interesting news to hear from our engineer. So he thinks that Carlos Sainz has 2 stops left in this race, despite starting on the hard tyres. So I thought he would have went hard medium, but according to our engineer, he's going 2 stop after the hard. So he might be running hard medium soft like we did. I thought that seems like a weird strategy to me. But yeah, you can see we have caught up to Carlos. We were lapping a lot quicker than him, and he's on those old hards. They're going to be deteriorating towards the end of the stint now, because of course he's been on them for the whole race since the start. We get a lot of pace coming down this downhill section. The cameras make this race seem so fast as well. And up the inside we go on Carlos Sainz. Little lock up into that corner there. But we managed to get ahead of Carlos Sainz. And now the next target in front of us is our teammate, Jenson Button. Can we just employ team orders? Say, Jenson, get out the way, mate. Jenson Button running in P5 at the minute, though, before his pit stop. And that's a decent enough result for Jenson if he can stay there by the end of the race. Obviously he won't, because we're trying to overtake him. And we will have DRS down the back straight here. Will we have enough speed and momentum and battery charge to make a pass on Jenson before we get into the chicane? Because obviously this is the best part to overtake on a track without costing yourself time. But I'm already concerned because we are running another stop after this. I'm looking at George Russell in P4, 5.8 seconds ahead. God knows how far ahead the leader of this race is, who I believe is Lando Norris at this point. So God knows how long ahead he is. He's still got to stop, of course. We've got probably going to need a miracle if we do want to get a win in this race. We might have bottled it with the strategy here, but can we get a switch back on our teammate Jenson Button there? I tried to set it up, but no, we can't, and Jenson's going to stay ahead, and he's just costing us time this whole lap. Every corner that we go into, we've got a lot more pace than him, but we've got to stay behind him. Nowhere to make an overtake, not even close enough to send one here into our favoured overtake position, which we've done like 3 or 4 overtakes already in this race through that corner. We can't even make that move, but Jenson, he's wobbled a little bit. You saw that oversteer from Jenson. Now can we capitalise on that mistake? We've got our battery charge burning, we've got our DRS wing open up the inside. Jenson, there might have been a bit of contact there, but we managed to get past our teammate. We couldn't have stayed behind for much longer. It was costing us way too much time. It cost us like 3-4 tenths already to George Russell. Lewis Hamilton comes into the pits here for hard tyres. He's looking to go 20 laps on that stint there on the hard. I'm expecting everyone else to come into the pits soon. The medium runners in front. We've got George Russell 5.6 ahead. We've managed to close that gap a bit. But Verstappen in P2, 10 seconds ahead. And then God knows where Lando Norris is. He's probably about 12 seconds ahead maybe. I'm looking at the map thinking what is the gap between Verstappen and Norris. But yeah, very, very scared at the minute. Very scared at the minute whether we've bottled this strategy or not. And I don't think we can take these medium tyres till the end of the race. That would be a hell of a task. Norris, Verstappen, Russell into the pits, Jenson Button into the pits as well. We reclaim the lead of this race, but how long for? What is going to be the gap actually between us and Lando as Lando comes out of the pits? Let's see, 2.7, 3.1 now it's gone up to. 3 second gap between us and Lando. That is not good. If we pit now for hard tyres, we will come out in P10. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of work to do. So
radar suggests weather's going to hit in around 5 minutes time, so stay on your toes. Dry's definitely seen right.
Now that is absolutely massive news. I saw those clouds moving in. I mentioned them before. It got a bit dark, and then I'm seeing grey clouds. We check the weather report. Weather's moving in, rain's moving in 5 minutes, and this is our in lap. We're supposed to come in this lap for hard tyres. I checked the tyre wear. It's not too bad. 25 on the front, 32 on the back. It's not too bad, you know. I can deal with this for at least another few laps. Carlos Sainz takes the fastest lap away from us, but if we go 5 laps and then the rain comes, I can survive that, you know, until we go on to intermediates, if the rain comes heavy. If not, then we've bottled the strategy anyway. But there we go, there's some rain on the screen, as you can see. Let's see how the track does adapt to the rain, and let's see if it's worth even coming in for inters or just going on to the hards and then just trying to at least getting the points, or try and battle for a podium. I don't even know if we have the time left for that, but as you can see, coming through turn 2, very hesitant on the throttle there, struggling a lot, and then as we come downhill, Jenson Button comes into the pit. I'm assuming he's coming in for wet tyres. Big snap of oversteer there, and as we come through this flat out right hander, massive snap of oversteer which we managed to catch. That was scary, let me tell you, that was very scary. And then coming through this section again, oversteer, just no grip on the road. The wetness has got to the track already. And I just had to box this lap. I was about to tell the engineer to box it, but then he's already gave us the strategy to come in this lap for intermediates. I'm like, yeah, for sure, now is the time to come in for inters. Lando Norris caught up to us, but DRS got turned off, of course, with the rain. We are in P1, coming into the pits for these intermediate tyres. Optimal turning. Let's see, we've got the new tyres on, 2.4 seconds, and we are going to come out ahead of Lando Norris. Now this rain has played perfectly into our hands. Perfect strategy from us to go with the 2-stop. Everyone else has had to run a 2-stop now, because they went obviously medium hard inter, but we went soft medium inter. So perfect for us. This just honestly played into our hands so perfectly. And yeah, so we're on these intermediate tyres now. Definitely was time to come in for the inters. You saw that oversteer was crazy. The fact that I managed to catch that and not overcorrect it and send it into a spin the other way, I was made up with that. That is better than like winning a race. That feeling of when you catch a car and you think I should not have been able to catch that. Like, but yeah, so we stay ahead of Lando for quite some time. He doesn't really put up any threat. But down into turn 1 on lap 32 now, there is a threat. Lando Norris takes the lead of this race, but into turn 2 we have the inside line. Can we try and push Lando wide on exit? Yes, we can. And now Lewis Hamilton is in the mix, trying to make a move on Lando Norris. Hopefully that costs him some time. With only 4 laps left to go in this race here, we are still in the lead, but Lando is suddenly putting on a bit of an assault to try and take the win away from us. Can we turn this pole position into a win now? Unfortunately, we lost our fastest lap before to, I believe it was Carlos Sainz. But still, the race win would be absolutely huge. Remember, we were 1 point behind Carlos Sainz in the driver's standings before this race. So if we win this race and he's not even in the top 5, that's a massive gap between me and Carlos then in the drivers. But as you've just seen, race control enabled DRS on lap 32. So for the rest of these laps, it's gone back to dry. Look at this. We could have came in for slicks, but now it's back to dry weather. The intermediate's going to start overheating very quickly. Luckily, this is our last lap of the race, and we are 1 second ahead of Lando Norris. As soon as it went dry, Lando lost all of his pace. It was weird. I mean, I'm notoriously bad at driving in the rain on F1 games, and then Lando was absolutely rapid. As soon as we went back to dry, we were flying, you know. So the gap, you see, we're just putting in 1.1 seconds now, nearly 1.2. Hamilton, no threat as well down in P3. He's managed to overtake Verstappen. Them two are battling at the start for that position. And the 2 Ferraris nowhere to be seen, absolute jokers. But yeah, this is pretty much just our victory lap now. I mean, I guess, unless we mess up. Lando Norris has actually got back within DRS range, so I shouldn't speak too soon, but I was just cruising for this last lap. 6/10 he's closed the gap to somehow into the chicane now, using that curve for inside rotation. Maybe we've got a bit of overheating going on these intermediate tyres with no water to cool them down, but Lando is going to have DRS down this back straight for one final time. We're going to use all of our battery charge, expend it all, because it's the last lap. And we're going to need to, because look at the closing speed of that McLaren there. As we get into the braking zone, we manage to stay ahead of Lando, and he doesn't make a move. I don't know what happened there, my bad, the video just paused and froze on me. But yeah, we managed to make that move and stay ahead, and we are going to win this race in Canada. You absolutely love to see it. Apologies if the audio got messed up there. I think it might be out of sync now. That's not fun. But Yeah, anyway, so we win the race in Canada. Let's ignore technical difficulties and just have fun, because we have won the race in Canada. Absolutely massive to see. Shame it couldn't be back-to-back wins. We bottled it in Baku off the start, and yeah, that just wasn't fun in Baku. I reckon Max would have got us anyway in Baku, because his pace was ridiculous. But a nice little podium here in Canada. Us, Lando and Lewis Hamilton, 3 British drivers on the podium. Shaking hands with a goat there. Lewis Hamilton just letting us know, well done, lad. I'm going to soak in all the celebrations. Who knows how many race wins we'll get this season, but this might be our last. Who knows? That's why we're going to soak it in. Look at our beautiful car there. I absolutely love the livery this season. I can't lie to you. It's the camo, looking like digital camo of what's it called, Modern Warfare 2, and then the hint of purple in there. It's just absolutely gorgeous to see. I just love the colour purple on the podium there. As you can see, the 3 Brits on the podium. It doesn't show the flags behind anymore, but yeah, 3 British drivers. Lando Norris, obviously half Belgian, if you didn't know that. I'm pretty sure he was born in Belgium, but yeah, there's the team. All these generic faces. I've actually never seen any of those guys before. They're just fans who put merch on, I think, and then got into Parc Fermé somehow. But yeah, so let's see the driver standings then. Driver standings is going to be massive. I did not expect, like I say, to be fighting for a championship possibly in season 2 of this career mode, especially when last year it took us 4 seasons to fight for a championship. Our teammate Jenson Button finishing in P6 though. That's his first points for the team, and you love to see it. Charles Leclerc finishing in P8 with those engine issues, and he took the fastest lap, a very fast lap, a 1:12.7. That is very quick. But 25 points still nonetheless, and Carlos Sainz gets 0. Carlos Sainz finishes P11. He gets 0 points. So now we are going to be miles ahead of Carlos Sainz and only 4 points behind Max Verstappen in the driver's standings. And that's what I mean. It's season 2 and we're fighting for a championship. Who'd have thought it? We are 24 points ahead of Carlos Sainz, I think it was. We've moved up into P4 in the constructors, ahead of Mercedes by 1 point. And even in the constructors, it's like a 5-way battle for the constructors title at the minute. It is early doors. We're only early in the season, but like it might be too soon to speak. We might have a few DNFs, engine issues and stuff to come in the season, but still at the moment it's looking good, boys. It is looking good. We picked up our trophy there. We're going to pick up this engine power upgrade. We definitely need to focus on the engine and getting that engine up there, because it is slacking a little bit compared to our chassis and aero. You can see we pick up this rear downforce upgrade. Our aero package is the best on the grid by far. We have a chassis upgrade come through on the plank. I think that was for weight reduction or weight redistribution, I'm not too sure. But heading towards, speaking of 3 British drivers on the grid, it's the British Grand Prix next. Here's what I was talking about with Mercedes. Mercedes and McLaren absolutely flying in the vehicle comparison chart. Look how far ahead Mercedes are compared to us and Red Bull. Us and Red Bull, of course, using the same engine. So I'm thinking it's an engine issue. Let's check the engine chart. Look at Mercedes at the top there, bro. Are you kidding me, bro? And then the McLaren using a Mercedes engine as well. That is, Mercedes have nearly maxed out the bar and we're way down at the bottom. We haven't done any fuel upgrades, to be fair, so that's why it's not really representative of our bar, because we've done no fuel upgrades. That would push us ahead, but I don't care about fuel. I'm just focusing on power and ERS. Absolutely crazy that Mercedes have got an absolute rocket in the back of the car now. But yeah, man, that is going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, like, comment, share and subscribe. We'll catch us next time for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Take it easy.